33-second Disney logo in the 90s makes me thankful this isn't a Pixar joint as well.
Iconic would be an understatement.
One of the best animated movies of all time opens with something powerful and dramatic, and for so many of the images and a well-constructed opening, we're gonna take off 3 sins right off the bat.
He can't go 5 seconds without hitting another stunning backdrop. An opening completely free of dialogue, just Hans Zimmer's African mix of the circle of life, a glorious sunrise, and African animals coming to greet the new prince. Magnificent visual storytelling at its finest.
These lazy-ass birds are lazy.
And fun fact, these are the English translations of those oft mispronounced Zulu lyrics. Pink pajamas, penguins on the bar. Pink pajamas, penguins on the bar. Obviously the better interpretation.
More to do than can ever be done.
Jeez, thanks for the existential dread, Lion King. 2D rack focus? Was this live action? Oh, they were trying to make it look real. Well played. Goodness, that lighting behind Rafiki. The way the light of the sun brightens as the fruit is broken. That's right, I'm gonna call it fruit. Everyone says it's baobab, because that's his tree, but the inside looks nothing like baobab fruit to me. So fruit it is.
This is a ritual that needs to be done for some reason.
3 camera angle cuts. Like when you have an expensive explosion, so you use footage from multiple cameras. Good stuff. Really nails the importance of this moment.
Even God shares his approval of the new lion cub by shining light down at the appropriate moment. Hopefully he'll save Simba's dad when the time comes, too.
Sure, when Rafiki does it, everyone prances around all happy, but Michael Jack... You know what? Never mind. That's the sound zebras make? Not the leaping antelope? True confession, this movie has been playing in the background of our car for about a month now for Jude on long trips, and I have been picturing the leaping antelope. Solid hard cut with the drum. Kimba the White Lion, I mean the Lion King. Love how the mouse emerges from complete blackness that then transforms into the cave.
Life's not fair, is it?
First spoken words in this movie are from Scar, and interestingly, they present the underlying mythos of this movie that it sort of shoos away later.
And you...
Allow me to introduce you to our British, French-speaking villain. Try not to make any assumptions now, kids.
He's as mad as a hippo with a hernia.
Wouldn't any mammal with a hernia be in basically the same amount of pain/anger?
And our king of puns, Rowan Atkinson. That one isn't really a pun, but he knows animals, which makes sense as the guy keeping track of everything going on in the Pride Lands.
Scar pretty much had no choice but to be a villain, since his parents named him Scar, and he was born with evil eyes.
Why quiver with fear?
Hey, Jeremy Irons, take all the wins.
Drop him.
Is this something that happens enough that Mufasa is only mildly upset that Scar tried to swallow Zazu? Why would Zazu even show up at his lair by himself if that's the case?
Zazu can grow teeth when needed.
Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Fair warning, metaphorically, but he actually looks him in the eye when the time comes.
Well, as far as brains go, I got the lion's share.
Imagine being so much smarter than your brother. You can say that to his face and he'd just be like, I don't know that idiom. That's my best James Earl Jones. Which of course he wouldn't, because he doesn't see the fatal flaw of his class-segregated monarchical society. Stop, I'm stopping. It's a feel-good movie.
What am I going to do with him?
I don't know, but after this scene, I would definitely be on the lookout for Scar to pull some straight-up Hamlet in the next couple of days.
Whenever he gets dirty, you could take him out and beat him.
There's Zazu the pun man.
He'd make a very handsome throw rug.
Apparently Hercules liked that idea.
Take him out and beat him.
Classic Disney. Where would we be without your scores? This movie celebrates Africa, even using African choirs on top of Zimmer's composition.
Your son was awake.
So they got James Earl Jones and Madge Sinclair to basically reprise their roles as King and Queen from Coming to America. So does that mean Simba's gonna go to Queens and work at a McDowell's? Does Simba one day get pulled over for having a transvestite hooker in his car?
Careful, you guys ignored Prince Akeem's requests and he ended up coming to America. Not to ruin your childhood, but that was definitely the sound of Simba crashing into leaping antelope bones off screen. I'd recognize the sound anywhere. I'll never get over the mix of the voice actors with the animalistic roars and yawns. Every moment, every piece of music, it's all so epic and momentous.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Manifest Destiny.
More live action camera movements with the dolly around the two characters making this whole thing feel even more real.
The sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
Sooner than you think, on the setting part at least. But hey, even as a kid I appreciated the little hint there, even subconsciously.
What about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders.
Okay, first of all, if it's a shadowy place, then the light ain't touching it, and Simba shouldn't have to ask. Second of all, you just said the light in sight were your borders. But now suddenly, oh yeah, we have interior borders around that scary place. I forgot.
It'll all be yours except that one place. What about that place? Perfect.
Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance.
That's why there are gazelle bounding nearby with no fear whatsoever that I might eat them at any moment. Just like the real Africa.
When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so, we are all connected in the great circle of life.
I'll be sure to tell the antelope that when they're grieving over their loved ones getting eaten.
Sometimes you can use the circle of life to choke people from across the room, but that's a lesson for another day.
Says that the leopards are in a bit of a spot.
What did I say about these puns? I don't know, maybe I was a dense kid, but I never noticed a single one throughout my 600 viewings. Bees buzzing, leopards in a spot.
I told the elephants to forget it, but they can't.
Just imagine if as a major domo or stewards of the king, you had to come up with a new pun every morning.
Cheetahs never prosper. Baboons are going
What are you doing, son?
Was that a little foreground volume adjustment censoring?
Mufasa? Simba?
Mufasa allows Simba to be a dick to his loyal servants.
I never get to go anywhere.
You're like 6 days old, dude. Jesus.
When I...
Simba will rule everything the light touches.
will that make you?
A monkey's uncle.
Ha, right. You would be surprised since you're planning to kill him, which actually makes this line even more appropriate.
I'm a little surprised to see you.
Why does everyone assume that Scar won't die well before Mufasa does? And why does Scar think he'll ever have a shot at the throne anyway? Scar seems well beyond the years where his possible royalty would even matter that much to him. He should have thought about killing Mufasa long ago, before Simba was even born.
You know, if you feel a little uncomfortable by Scar's paw on Simba's head, you should. All the other lions in this movie retract their claws when not using them. Not Scar. You could say he's... prepared?
Simba walks in on Nala while she's taking a bath.
Look at the light filtering through the trees above Sarabi onto her fur.
You're betrothed, intended, affianced.
I mean, you're gonna do it. Oh, I'll just press the button for the stimulator. I mean, the elevator.
Oh man, you hear that? Can you feel the love tonight in the background?
But you two turtle doves have no choice.
Having no choice is like the baseline attribute of a Disney character.
Ooh, color and stylization change signaling the song. And look, it's a great song, an enjoyable sequence, but it just gives me PTSD from the Sega game. Stupid monkeys throwing me in the wrong direction. You can't just land in a giraffe's head that easily.
I'm gonna be the main event.
Main event! Oh, we don't get enough puns these days.
No one saying stop that.
You don't
No one saying see here.
JTT was the man in the 90s. Julia had a crush on him, so I barely need to sing his praises. But I was just about to compliment his singing voice when I found out Jason Weaver actually does Simba's singing. Ernest, Devin's buddy from Drumline, which was a good choice since he was also Michael Jackson in the Jacksons movie.
Free to run around all day. Free to do it all my way.
Simba is outlining exactly how he'll bring about the downfall of the entire kingdom. Selfishness and excessive playtime.
But then you may never fall in love with Robert Redford.
This whimsical break in the song could have been genuinely tragic. Look, I know we're in a cartoon musical where anything can happen, but I'm drawing the line at synchronized animal pyramid stacking.
Also, you could look at this entire song as a bit of fantasy from Simba's perspective, with the color change and all the animals being a little more exaggerated than before. I'm not even sure the zebras would be so disrespectful to the king's stooge. I mean, if you weren't sure.
Zazu survives this. Damn it.
All right, it worked.
Right, our plan to distract Zazu with song and then trap him under a rhino's butt came off without a hitch. How f***ing lucky are we?
Hey, genius, it was my idea.
It was? I distinctly remember you saying,
So how are we gonna ditch the dodo? Oh, I know.
and it was Simba doing the talking until Zazu interrupted. So how did you come up with it, Nala? You lying whore? The elephant.
Pinned you again. Quotable lines are quotable. Really have to give it up for this animation style. It's another example of slightly exaggerated humanistic features, but for the most part, they're just lions. I mean, Scar's outlines would cut glass, but everyone else looks like an animal.
You have no idea.
The elephant graveyard is creepy and cool, but how do all the elephants know to come here right before they die? Wouldn't some of them be like, "F it, I'm dying right here where I am"? Or are you saying they die, but then other elephants or hyenas or some animal carries the bones all the way here just to keep this creepy spot a thing? Zazu's zombie corpse shows up just in the nick of time to start what we here at CinemaSins would now like to call the Flying Dead.
What do you think, Ed?
Oh man. Ed's name is the only non-African name because he's special? Low blow, guys. Low blow. Okay, maybe I spoke just a tad too soon. Does Bonsai have stubble while Shenzi's face is smooth? Hey, I can give points on the other side for... I don't know, I always thought Shenzi's hyena looked a lot like Whoopi Goldberg, so whatever. Oh, it's the lack of eyebrows.
We could have whatever's lying around.
I never realized how much of this movie is just buns.
Make mine a Cub sandwich.
So that's just chicken under bacon? No lettuce? Oh, you want to eat the child. Gotcha.
Did we order this dinner to go?
No.
Why?
'Cause there it goes!
Nice joke, considering you spent precious seconds of escape time to come up with it.
Where's Zazu?
Do you even worry about Zazu anymore after a rhino sat on his body? Hungry hyenas have a hot bowl to put food in that merely makes said food blast off like a rocket. No wonder they're starving.
Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?
There's some courage. Misguided, but courage nonetheless.
This is the longest spine anyone has ever slid down to escape in the history of spine slide escapes. I'm actually fine with Mufasa knowing Simba was in the elephant graveyard, but knowing exactly where he was to save him in time?
I didn't know, did you? No, of course not. No. Ed?
Honesty.
I thought you were very brave.
And compliments.
So Scar's plan to get Simba into the northern border actually worked, but if he successfully killed Simba, then what? Was his plan to then kill Mufasa?
I just gave a 2019 animated movie a bunch of credit for a realistic time-spanning sunrise, and who'd have known The Lion King did a time-aware sunset 25 years earlier, starting with pink at the beginning of the scene, ending with this greenish blue and stars out by the end.
Literal big shoes to fill reference.
That's what we call symbolism. On the nose or not, it brings the focus in on how unprepared Simba is. He's not even aware his dad needs to die for him to be king.
You deliberately disobeyed me.
You just said that 2 minutes ago.
You deliberately disobeyed me.
Is this a repetitive ad or a copy-paste screenwriter? Discuss.
Being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble.
Well, you know, it wasn't exactly like they was alone, Scar.
Yeah, they were very alone for a good long while, but then you started talking before eating them and let them run away somehow. Then they weren't alone.
Kill Mufasa?
Precisely.
Ooh, Dutch tilt for the audience's unease.
Wow, Scar found a way to get nature itself on board with his musical number.
Thick as you are, pay attention.
I love that Scar's first verse, a full 30 seconds, is just calling the hyenas dumb without them realizing it.
The lights are not all on upstairs.
Oh, this is a huge previously unseen hyena contingent just sitting around in the dark until now. See?
Are they goose stepping? Subtle, Disney. Is this Triumph of the Will to song? Wait, is that a sickle? Oh, it's just the moon. Just the moon.
It's like Scar has the power to become king right here, just simply through song. If you can find the right lyrics, something insane would happen, and I bet you could dethrone Mufasa in no time.
Know about that?
Simba, everybody knows about that. You might want to work on that little roar of yours.
Not that parents don't often commiserate over their kids' misdeeds, but I don't think Mufasa really told anyone. Scar was there. The reason he knows Simba's roar was weak, even if he's almost insinuating his dad made fun of him for it, right? Like, from Simba's perspective, how else would he know? You hate him more yet? So he used the opportunity to shame Simba a little more.
Work on that little roar of yours.
Which ended up having the added advantage of making Simba think he started the stampede.
Simba, it's to die for.
You Brits and your wordplay. He gonna die.
Maybe frightened wildebeest would stampede down into a gulch like this. Maybe they wouldn't. I have my doubts. But my real question is, with a ridge that steep, how come half of them aren't falling and slipping and rolling all the way down this steep-ass goddamn rock surface? Tons.
This stampede took 3 years. Every wildebeest is based on a singular wildebeest, and it was created using a newfangled technology called... This is just a sandwich wrapper. CGI. Dolly zoom.
Tons of clear area to the right here, but Simba also went to the Prometheus school of running away from things. Simba is, for any length of time, able to outrun the herd.
Yep, still one of Hans Zimmer's most heart-pounding pieces of music. And the way the dust slowly builds into a cloud you can barely see through.
Simba falls out of Mufasa's mouth here, but of course isn't trampled, because math.
Long live the king.
I know I shouldn't win bad guys being so good at being bad, but come on.
Well, this movie has some balls. The death of Mufasa is something very few cartoons are willing to do. It's plot appropriate, it's dramatic, so we will remove 5 sins. Despite that though, Scar gets a massive lucky break after being super unlucky, doesn't he? This whole plan should definitely have worked without a hitch, but Mufasa's a bastard and survives all the way up to the point where Scar is forced to straight up murder him. Not only that, everything with the cliff is perfect so that Simba doesn't see this.
Another amazing filmmaking shot. Zoom in on Mufasa to black, then zoom out of Simba's pupil.
Dad?
Getting your hopes up, wildebeest. Also, where the hell was this guy when the massive stampede was going on? Did he oversleep or something? Did he wake up and look at his watch and say, I'm late for the stampede?
Gotta get up.
Saddest Disney death ever? Yeah, saddest Disney death ever. Oh man, he pulls on his ear just like when he was asleep. I mean, there's just no call for this Disney. Hugging? Fake hugging?
Run away and never return.
I guess Zazu's statement to Scar was more important than we realized.
Kill him.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with your food?
Question, why doesn't he just kill and or eat Simba right now? There are no witnesses. And if he's telling him to run away, there's obviously a benefit for Scar to having Simba out of the picture. And he's a wimpy baby lion, who you already tried to have killed earlier anyway. So why send away alive the one dude that can challenge your claim to the throne? This is so much worse than monologuing.
Kill him.
What? This is even worse than not killing him. Why didn't you kill him 6 seconds ago? Why are you letting this turn into a game for the hyenas and You want him dead, right? They're the fools that failed you last time, dog. The fuck? Simba has to climb this to avoid the hyenas, but the movie glosses over that and he's at the top before they even catch up. Simba survives this.
Even the hyena's laughs are pretty close to real life.
Simba's mom just accepts he's dead, with no body to be found, mere hours after everything went down. Zazu conveniently forgets that Scar punched him into a rock a minute ago when this started getting real. It's almost like he forgets the guy has all the markings of a true villain, that this is what he wanted all along and he was probably responsible for it. But
There's Scar's sickle and hammer again. Match cut. Or Rafiki is a teleporting mandrill. Good either way.